on AMC True Crime.
Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for informational purposes only. What if the most anticipated day turned into the most unspeakable nightmare? What if the promise of a joyful reunion dissolved into a chilling mystery, leaving behind only echoes of laughter and an unbearable silence? Tonight, we delve into a story that will seize your heart, tighten its grip with each passing moment, and leave you in a profound state of reflection long after the screen fades to black. This is the tragic tale of the Decker sisters, Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, a story of innocence lost, a father vanished, and a community shattered. In the heart of Wenatchee, Washington, a vibrant, tight-knit community nestled amidst apple orchards and the majestic Cascade Mountains, lived three beautiful sisters: 9-year-old Paityn with her vibrant spirit, 8-year-old Evelyn, known for her artistic flair, and 5-year-old Olivia, the youngest, a whirlwind of infectious energy and boundless curiosity. Their lives, though touched by the separation of their parents, still revolved around the simple joys of childhood, the comfort of sisterhood, and the anticipation of moments spent with their father, Travis Decker. Visitation days were always a mix of excitement and the quiet hum of parental navigation. For the girl's mother, Whitney Decker, it was about ensuring her daughters maintained a loving connection with their father, despite the complexities of their dissolved marriage. On this particular day, Friday, May 30th, 2025, the air in their home was charged with a familiar energy. Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia had been counting down the hours, meticulously planning their activities with Travis. Perhaps a trip to the park, a movie, or just an afternoon of uninterrupted playtime. Whitney, too, had made her preparations, ensuring everything was in order for the planned pickup. As the clock edged closer to the appointed return time, a subtle unease began to creep in. Minutes stretched into an hour. Calls to Travis's phone went unanswered, ringing out into the void. Whitney's initial mild concern blossomed into a gnawing worry. This wasn't like him. He had always been punctual for his visitations, always eager to see his daughters. The silence from his end was deafening, a premonition of something deeply, terribly wrong. With every passing minute, Whitney's anxiety escalated. She tried calling Travis's family, his friends, anyone who might have heard from him. Each unanswered call, each shrug of ignorance, chipped away at her composure. The vibrant anticipation of moments ago was replaced by a chilling dread. Where was Travis? And more importantly, where were her girls? Finally, with no other recourse, a desperate Whitney dialed 911. The dispatcher's calm, reassuring voice was a stark contrast to the turmoil in her heart. She explained the situation: a missed return after a planned visitation, an unresponsive father, and 3 young girls now inexplicably missing. The wheels of a frantic search were set in motion. Law enforcement, understanding the gravity of a missing persons report involving children, immediately launched an investigation. They began by trying to locate Travis Decker, who was known to be living out of his truck and frequenting various hotels, motels, and campgrounds. But as the search intensified, a different kind of silence greeted them, one that spoke not of absence, but of something far more sinister. The search for Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia spanned days, extending beyond Wenatchee into the vast, rugged landscapes of Chelan County. Investigators followed leads, analyzed cell phone records, and tracked Travis's vehicle. The urgency intensified with every passing hour. On Monday, June 2nd, the focus narrowed dramatically. And then, near the Rock Island Campground outside Leavenworth, down a secluded embankment, the discovery that would send shockwaves not only through Wenatchee but across the nation. The bodies of the three sisters, Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, were found. Their vibrant lives, so full of promise and laughter just days before, had been extinguished. Preliminary findings indicated they had likely died of asphyxiation, with plastic bags over their heads and their wrists zip-tied. The very air seemed to thicken with unspeakable grief. The initial shock was quickly replaced by a desperate urgency. If the girls were here, lifeless, then where was Travis Decker? The missing persons case had instantly morphed into a full-blown homicide investigation, and Travis, the father, was now the prime suspect in the murders of his own daughters. The news ripped through the Wenatchee community like a wildfire, leaving a trail of disbelief, horror, and profound sorrow. How could a father, someone meant to protect and nurture, commit such an unthinkable act against his own flesh and blood? The question hung heavy in the air, unanswered, fueling the desperate need for answers. A massive manhunt was immediately launched. Every available resource was deployed. Local, state, and federal agencies joined forces, scouring every inch of Washington state. His photograph, now synonymous with unspeakable evil, was plastered across news outlets, social media, and wanted posters. Travis, the father, who was supposed to return his daughters after a day of fun, had vanished into thin air, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable horror and a community gripped by fear. Checkpoints were established, phone records were analyzed, and witness accounts were meticulously gathered. Each lead, no matter how small, was pursued with relentless determination. Was he still in the area? Had he fled across state lines? Was he hiding in the vast wilderness of the Pacific Northwest? The possibilities were endless, and each one brought a fresh wave of frustration as Travis continued to elude capture. Meanwhile, the girl's mother, Whitney, was plunged into a living nightmare. The vibrant laughter that once filled her home was replaced by an echoing silence. The weight of her loss was immeasurable, compounded by the horrifying realization that the very person she entrusted her children to was now suspected of their murders. Her grief became a public sorrow, shared by a community that mourned with her, desperate for justice and answers. As the manhunt continued, the focus shifted not only to finding Travis, but also to understanding the incomprehensible why. What could have driven a father, a former military veteran, to commit such a heinous act? The public, desperate for explanations, speculated wildly. Financial troubles? Mental health issues? A bitter custody dispute? Each theory offered a glimpse into the dark abyss of human behavior, yet none could fully explain the utter depravity of the crime. Investigators delved deep into Travis's past, searching for any red flags, any hint of the darkness that festered beneath the surface. His personal life was meticulously examined, his relationships scrutinized, his demeanor recalled by those who knew him. Every piece of information, no matter how seemingly insignificant, was scrutinized for clues that might shed light on his motive, or, more urgently, his current whereabouts. Court documents even revealed that Travis had likely visited the area where the girls were found the day before picking them up, suggesting a horrific level of premeditation. The lack of a clear, publicly understood motive only deepened the chilling mystery. It was a stark reminder that sometimes the most horrific acts defy logical explanation, leaving behind a gaping void of questions and a lingering sense of unease. The community, still reeling from the shock, grappled with the terrifying realization that evil could lurk in the most unexpected places, even within the confines of a family. In the midst of the ongoing search, the Wenatchee community came together in a powerful display of grief and solidarity. Candlelight vigils were held, tears flowed freely, and tributes poured in for Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia. Their bright, promising futures had been cruelly snatched away, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. The community, heartbroken by the senseless loss, also rallied around their devastated mother, Whitney. Within hours of the horrific news, a GoFundMe was established by compassionate friends and strangers, a digital outpouring of support to help Whitney navigate the unimaginable financial burdens that accompany such a tragedy. Funeral expenses, counseling, and the daunting task of rebuilding a life shattered by violence. The sheer speed and generosity of donations were a testament to the community's collective empathy, a beacon of light in the darkest of times, showing that even amidst unspeakable evil, humanity's capacity for kindness endures. The community vowed to keep their memory alive, to ensure that their lives, though tragically cut short, would not be forgotten. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The initial fervor of the manhunt began to wane, though the determination of law enforcement never faltered. Tips continued to come in, but Travis Decker remained a phantom, a haunting shadow in the periphery of a community forever scarred. The case became a constant, painful reminder of the fragility of life and the unfathomable depths of human darkness. The families involved, particularly Whitney, endured an unimaginable torment. The grief of losing her daughters was compounded by the agonizing uncertainty of Travis's whereabouts. There was no closure, no finality, only the persistent, aching question of why and the enduring hope for justice. The story of the Decker sisters, though unfolding over time, continues to resonate with a chilling power. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the people we trust, the hidden demons that can lurk beneath seemingly ordinary exteriors, and the profound impact of domestic violence. This tragedy is a stark reminder to cherish every moment, to recognize the preciousness of innocence, and to never take for granted the safety and well-being of those we hold dear. It compels us to reflect on the silent struggles that may be hidden in plain sight, to be more vigilant, more empathetic, and to support those who might be suffering in silence. The names Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker should forever echo in our collective consciousness, a testament to lives cut short, but also a call to action. A call to speak out against violence, to protect the vulnerable, and to ensure that no child ever faces such an unspeakable fate. Their story, though heartbreaking, carries with it a profound message that even in the deepest sorrow, there is a responsibility to remember, to learn, and to strive for a world where such tragedies become a distant, unthinkable past. If you find this coverage insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps bring more in-depth reports like this to light. Drop a comment below. What's your take on these revelations? Stay tuned for more.